Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Diogo, and I'm a Jiu-Jitsu athlete documenting my journey through competitions, training, and anywhere BJJ takes me. This video is actually supposed to be my third vlog covering my competition, but unfortunately that got postponed. So instead, I thought this would be a great chance to talk a little bit about myself, my background, how I got into Jiu-Jitsu, where I'm at now, and what my goals are for 2025. So how did I get into BJJ in the first place? I took interest in MMA in 2017 when Conor was scheduled to fight Floyd. And then in 2018, I moved from Portugal to Nottingham for university. And when I got here, I signed up to both the BJJ and the Muay Thai clubs in the university. And that's why I started training, October of 2018. I also only signed up to BJJ mostly because I knew I'd need it for MMA, but I had no particular interest in the martial art. I wanted to do Muay Thai, I wanted to be a striker. So at university, I was learning from other white belts and other blue belts who had been there since the year before. We did have a coach coming in once to twice a week, but at times he was busy competing himself. So I was mostly learning from other people who had been at a club for a little longer than I had. I started training in October and I signed up to my first competition, which was going to be in November. So that's when I started shifting my focus from Muay Thai and striking to BJJ. Not because I was taking a particular interest in the sport, but mostly because I wanted to do good at the competition. I was doing well in training, I was progressing, felt like I was, and also I was going to be competing against people who've been training for the same amount of time. There was this like special bracket for people who had started training in that same school year. Thought I was going to do well, I was excited to compete, and I started shifting my focus from striking to BJJ at that point. So with that first competition, I ended up winning both of my first matches by submission. And then went on to lose the semi-finals and the bronze medal match on points. I was extremely disappointed after that one and promised myself I'd win the next university championships, which were coming up the following March. So at that time, I stopped training Muay Thai and focused all of my attention in BJJ. March finally came around, I put a ton of hours into training, and I managed to win both of my brackets in the gi and no gi. Go on, Diogo! After that, I was ready to go back into MMA training, and the following year, I joined the UFC gym, which had just opened up in Nottingham. At that point, I shifted my focus back to striking because I wanted to catch up to where my grappling was. And in the midst of all this, COVID hit, which meant I couldn't train for quite a long time, especially Jiu-Jitsu. I did the odd session here and there. I was doing mostly striking, but I didn't really train Jiu-Jitsu from COVID and then until April of 2021. April 2021 is when I met Carlos, who's my current coach. He was about to open Roll Deep, and I moved in on day one, and I've been there ever since. I got promoted to blue belt shortly after that, and I got back into competition. I couldn't compete much as a white belt. I did 4 competitions, I think. At this point, I was still focused on MMA, but I couldn't really afford 2 memberships to do different martial arts, so I just stuck with Jiu-Jitsu for the time being. And I got back to competing, and I was focused on improving my grappling as much as I could. I didn't have a lot of success as a blue belt. I was losing a ton of matches on points. I couldn't really get it going. During that summer, I watched Daisy Fresh, and by the end of the summer, I was fully addicted to Jiu-Jitsu, and I no longer thought about MMA whatsoever. It was all about making it to a DCC Worlds now, and that was when I shifted my focus entirely from MMA, and I went 100% into Jiu-Jitsu. When Roll Deep opened up, I started helping clean the toilets, helping teach classes, and I started making some money through Jiu-Jitsu. That obviously wasn't enough for me to make a living, so I still found a job here and there to help me pay all of my other bills. My parents were also very supportive, and so was everyone that was training at Roll Deep. People gave me odd jobs at their houses, mowing the lawn, stuff like that. When I met my girlfriend, I moved in with her, and she basically gave me a place to stay when I didn't have a house. And eventually, throughout all of this, I started winning more matches, started teaching more classes, and I started making a little bit more money with Jiu-Jitsu. Still wasn't enough for me to make a living, but I was getting close. I was doing Uber Eats for a point in time as well, which wasn't ideal. The best paying hours conflicted with my training schedule. I ended up dropping out of it and starting one-to-ones, which allowed me to basically make a living off of Jiu-Jitsu. It's enough for me to pay my bills, travel, and compete. which is what's important to me. So right now I'm a purple belt, and thanks to all the supportive people around me, my coach who believed in me since day one, my parents, my friends, my girlfriend, I am now able to make a living off of Jiu-Jitsu. And with that, I can balance my teaching and my training and fully dedicate myself to this martial art. So 2024 ended up being a slower year than what I was expecting. I competed at the ADCC trials in Croatia in February. I won my first match by submission. And then lost on the second round to a decision. Then after that, I kept getting some minor injuries. Also got a septoplasty surgery out the way. I couldn't really breathe properly through my nose, and I figured that last year would have been the perfect timing to get that one out of the way since I wasn't doing any other major competitions. Then after the surgery, I was busy with moving into my own flat and just teaching mostly. And then I kept getting some other minor injuries after that as well, some skin infections, the usual stuff with Jiu-Jitsu. So it ended up being a much slower year than what I would have hoped for, and I didn't get to compete as much as I wanted. So I'm back home after a long day, and the goal for 2025 is to enter the ADCC European Trials and win it. It's a goal that's pretty hard to achieve. I do have a lot of catching up to do with those higher level guys, and to prepare myself, I'm competing locally as much as I can until May, and then I plan on doing a 12-week camp leading up to trials. When it comes to this channel, I plan to keep on growing it and sharing my journey, and for now, the plan is to keep uploading every 2 weeks, but when it comes to June, I want to upload a weekly vlog about my ADCC trials camp. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm working towards this 2025. Let me know in the comments what you're working for, what your goals are, how you got into Jiu-Jitsu. If you want to follow along my BJJ journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with new videos. Stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully, I'll be back to competing again, and that's what the next vlog is going to be about. See ya.